Hello, my name is Hasan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast, shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 6 to 8 minute long observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 6 to 8 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even that business book that has been sitting in your Amazon queue that you just haven't been able to bring yourself to purchase for around the last 6 months. Every day the future looks a little bit darker, but the past, even the grimy parts of it, keep on getting brighter. Sally Jupiter, Watchmen. Pace Sally Jupiter in Zack Snyder's Watchmen, but Nostalgia Sally is a killer. I've thought that for many years now and have blogged about that concept as well as having included it in my most recent book, 12 Rules for Leaders. It's worth revisiting here. The real reason nostalgia is a killer is that the act of continually looking backward at the past, usually with rose-colored glasses, acts as a balm against the friction of the fear of the unknown that the future creates in human beings psychologically. Nostalgia often acts as a place where an individual can clothe their inaction and indecision in a cloak of hubris and arrogance. Nostalgia often prevents old ideas from coming to the fore that should be new and keeps old ideas in the fore that should be old. A lot of this is typically worked out rhetorically between people, worked out psychologically inside of people's minds, or worked out emotionally and materially through the vagaries of time. But, and this is one of the challenges of today, none of it gets worked out if people don't know and appreciate the impact of history. In our time, where the ever-present, ever-entertaining, and ever-dopamine-driven moment of right now is all that seemingly matters, talk of history, almost all talk of history, always sounds quaint and rather nostalgic. But the study of history, the appreciation of history, the acknowledgement of history is anything but quaint and nostalgic. The solutions to many of our postmodern leadership problems, the decline of meaning in the West, the fractured nature of familiar relations, the splintering of definitional roles for men and women, the inability to appropriately order the hierarchy of problems that are solvable through man's efforts, the intransigence of human sin, the complexity of economic life, and the choices individuals make, and the tensions between freedom and tyranny can all begin to be solved by looking at all of those problems through the lens of history, to bring solutions to the present from the other side of history. There is no quote-unquote end of history, and there is no quote-unquote last man. Not until Jesus returns, anyway, as an adult with fiery judgment and sword. So, maybe it's time for leaders and others, great and small, to start looking backwards without nostalgia in order to effectively move forward to solve our postmodern problems and the ones that will bedevil us in the future. And well, that's it for me. Thank you for listening and subscribing to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast. If you're listening to this on any of the major podcast players, like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, please go ahead and leave us a 5-star review and write a little bit in there. A couple of sentences is good enough. That actually helps us game those algorithms that I was just maybe addressing. And, of course, it helps us grow the show. Tell all your family, tell all your friends, and tell the leaders in your life that you know that need to be listening to this show that this show exists. By the way, if you want to get started on the leadership path yourself, or you know some people who need to go on the leadership path, HSCT Publishing, the home company of Leadership Toolbox and Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast, can help you and your team do that. So check out our training webinars, coaching services, and more at leadershiptoolbox.us. We are remote, we're live, we're in person, we're on video, And we've got leadership development solutions for your civic group, nonprofit staff, public sector staff, or even your private sector leaders. And of course, you're going to want to check out our video-based subscription service at leadingkeys.com. That's leadingkeys.com for leadership development on demand. You don't like videos, you don't like training, but you really like the podcast? Well, I would also recommend reading a book. Matter of fact, I'd recommend reading my most recent book, 12 Rules for Leaders, The Foundation of Intentional Leadership. You can get that in paperback, hardcover, or as an ebook on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Ingram Spark, and any other place that you order books online. Finally, of course, we're on YouTube just like everybody else is. We'd love to have you help us grow the YouTube channel, so like and subscribe to the video version of this podcast on the HSCT Publishing channel on YouTube. Just search for HSCT Publishing, or you can search for Leadership Toolbox and hit the subscribe button. Subscribing helps us grow the show. As it does with the audio, just is the same with the video. All right, that's it for me.